It's just a suggestion. We're going to call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. Jan, do you have a good news report? You are soon going to be part of that report.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start off with two bits of good news. First, I'll introduce you to the first portion. Tonight's good news report, though, is going to require you to put yourself in a bit of a struggle for a minute. Let's just say you had a presentation all ready to go for tonight's board meeting, and the power went out, or you couldn't access your PowerPoint for some reason. So are you starting to feel a little nervous? Maybe you have a test to study for, but the book you need is locked away behind a wall of glass. You can see it there, but you just can't get there. Makes you a little bit nervous, right? Now imagine living day to day where information is there and you just can't access it. Well, thanks to a small group of creative members of the Sioux Falls School District Special Services Department, we have 2,000 students who don't have to experience that struggle. Tonight's good news report introduces you to the assistive tech team. And so we will have the members of the assistive tech team come forward, and they are going to share with you some of the ways that our students access their education. So we'll have some demonstration tonight.
All right, I always say that I am AT, not IT, so if we have any glitches here, I'm gonna lean on Andrew back there, but, oh, see, we're started right away. Oh, there we go. So like she said, we're with the Sioux Falls School District's assistive tech team. All four of us make up the team, and we're not even all full members on that team. But my name's Heather Hinners. I've been with the district for 22 years, and my role on the team as an AT integrationist is really to help those classrooms to use these tools to integrate them in and get them access to that education across all of the assistive tech tools.
I'm Chris Smith, and I'm an occupational therapist for the district. This is my 25th year, and I think 17th year on the AT team, so.
My name is Beth Carlson. I'm a speech language pathologist. This is my 3rd year on the AT team and my 21st year as a speech therapist.
My name is Shannon Miles, and I'm teacher of the visually impaired. I've been in this position for 7 years, and in those 7 years, I've been a part of the assistive tech team.
So just a few, AT versus IT here. Just a few things to learn about what we do and who we impact in the district. Like Deanne had said, we serve about 2,000 students across the district, students that are on either a 504 plan or an IEP plan, and we support students all the way from birth to age 21. We often forget about those littles that aren't quite into early childhood yet and those older students that are transitioning out. We do a variety of consults and evaluations to help support teachers and staff and teams to learn what tools can help those students to overcome some of those barriers that they face within the school day. And those are across a variety of different needs, whether that be physical motor access, fine motor, gross motor, learning, vision, hearing, all of those different areas we help to support. We also do a lot of training for parents, staff, children to be able to learn how to use those supports, because just putting a support in place is not enough to help those needs. As well as we do some support for families to help connect them to community resources to be able to have access to these things beyond the school day, because we know that these barriers don't stop just here when they leave the building.
Okay, so these are some of the AT tools that you might see for communication access. AT for communication is often called AAC, or augmentative and alternative communication. And really those are tools that are just meant to support students in understanding language and also being able to express themselves and share what they want to say and express their understanding or their learning. So some of the tools you might see are a simple switch like this. That they are able to communicate. There might be a communication board that's simply a piece of paper where teachers are able to point to pictures, students are able to point to pictures to demonstrate, to clarify directions. There also might be a communication book that has lots and lots of words to be able to share a more complex message. And then we have the high-tech tools. This is the most robust vocabulary option that we use in the district. And this can be a comprehensive communication system that can share all kinds of language and support communication in a lot of ways.
This is an augmentative communication device, and I'm using it to help me speak.
So those are just some of the tools that we use for AT for communication, and we do a lot of training for staff and families, especially when it comes to robust AAC.
All right, so for my piece is motor, and you can see on the slide up here, we do different types of mounts for communication devices and switches. So that top corner, those are 2 different types of mounts. There's several available commercially. We have one up here too. And then different types of access for iPads and computers and keyboards and adaptive joysticks. Also look at adapting writing tools and different styluses. That's a switch adapted scissors for one of my little guys. You'll see a picture of him later in the video. And then cause and effect we can do with switches. Either we find a point of access that a student is able to move. It could be their foot, it could be their head, their hand, their knee. Right now I have a little guy using that scissors, and he uses his foot to hit the switch, and then he's able to hold the paper with his hands. And then what else is up there? Like an iPad stylus that's been adapted, a functional hand that helps hold markers and different tools. So it's just kind of a tip of an iceberg. So lots of problem solving in these gals here. We like to bounce ideas off each other, and we like to create and solder and hot glue and whatever we need to do.
The next area we're going to talk about is assistive technology for reading and writing access. If we think about reading and writing, it doesn't just happen during ELA time. It really happens across all curriculum areas out in the community. Think of all the reading and writing that you do across your day and what these students are going to experience. And we just look for ways to help them overcome those barriers. So while they're still learning those skills of reading and writing that are barriers right now, they can actually still access the rest of the curriculum and not get further behind. So we use things such as text-to-speech, where that text is going to be read aloud on their computer, or we have reading pens that they can take and they can scan along the printed text to have that read aloud to them into their earbuds. We have iPad accessibility pieces. They can snap a picture of a worksheet and select the text that they needed to read aloud. Different ways that we can put worksheets up into the computer for them to access it that way using some of those tools also. We also use headphones with microphones because you know those classrooms are loud, so that they can speak into there and still get their own authentic ideas out without having to have someone being there to rely on. and a variety of other things that they can utilize.
And assistive tech for the blind and visually impaired. We have students in our district that are blind, are deafblind, and have low vision. So how does a student access their curriculum and their environment with a visual impairment? On this screen, one of the examples, I have a student with low vision who's in orchestra, and he uses a large screen iPad and a foot pedal, and he uses an app called Fourscore, and he can scan his music into the iPad with the Fourscore app, and then he plays strings, so then he can touch his foot pedal and advance the music, but it can be set up totally of what part of the page he needs that he's scanned in. There's also magnifiers, and not just a handheld like the old handheld magnifiers. There are digital magnifiers, and it doesn't just magnify. You can record, you can Bluetooth it, you can do, take pictures around the room, and you can download a file, and just about anything you can think of you can do with a different type of handheld magnifier. And then students who are blind, print can be put into Braille and vice versa using, this is called a smart Brailler. And you can do lift weights with that. It's very heavy, and so get a workout with that. But that will speak. It will also show print for the teachers if they don't obviously know Braille, and so they can see what he's typing. And that also you can keep a file in there and then turn it into the teacher. And then also those are high-tech options. But then there are also, up in the corner, you'll see there's the light box where Heather is. These are for my students or our students who have what's called cortical visual impairment. This is just one of the leading causes of blindness. And this is a brain-based visual impairment. I mean, they can see you, but they can't interpret it. So how do we get them to interpret what they're looking at? And that takes a long time to build their visual pathway. And so eventually being able to, the number one goal is being able to give them access, because we are looking at access for independence, not just here at school, but when they graduate or leave us when they're 21. Thank you.
So this next part here, we just have a short little video that we want to share with you that has students in our Sioux Falls School District that we were able to gather over the last few weeks of them using AT and why that AT matters. Thank you for your time. Do you have any questions? If not, that's okay.
Well, thank you for coming. And I do have a question. Just with more of the kids being in the mainstream classroom, how are you working with the teacher or do you work with the teacher and the EA to allow this access to happen? Are you bringing the devices in? Or what does that look like? Or maybe you all are going in the classroom. I'm just thinking how quickly curriculum goes and what falls into that for the teacher in the classroom.
So we're not technically a member of that IEP team specifically. And so whenever an IEP team wants to know what tools they should use, those type of things, we have a format that they can work through to request support. And then we come out and do a consult or an evaluation if needed and kind of put together recommendations and provide training to that team. So then that team can then continue that and keep that going on a daily basis within there. With us being a small team and there being 2,000 students out there, there's no way we could reach there, but we've really worked hard on building that capacity of our teachers that are out in the buildings, and as they get students with new challenges, helping to provide that training.
Yeah, I was able to go to Ben Rifle's Rise holiday party, and I observed students using that device with their peers. They came in to do like crafts with them, and it was really cool to see their interaction with each other and how excited each person got to talk back and forth and talk about how hot the hot chocolate was because they made it too hot, and like it was just cool to see them get the chance to be a kid, talk to other kids in their classroom, and the fact that this stuff exists and how creative you guys are like balling on a budget and getting crafty with this solder and taping stuff up. Like, it's just amazing what you've come up with to get kids to feel and own this part of their lives. So thank you for what you do. Appreciate it.
I want to say thank you as well. And I'm curious, you know, I really think that this shows the heart of public education, right? And it really gets to it. You guys kind of hit me hard. So, yeah, there's a lot to think about here, but I am wondering if there's, just with the advances in technology, I'm sure there's new things all the time, and you guys probably stay, you know, up to speed on all of that. Is there something that you're like, if we could have this, it would be just a game changer or just amazing? Is there something that you think about?
We've done different grants and all of those pieces over the year. Really the big thing out there right now is watching what AI is doing. AI is starting to change some of our communication apps, starting to change just the way that we access everything across the board, not just for us, but for everybody. So it's really kind of watching those pieces. We were able to purchase through a grant a 3D printer a few years ago. We have not gotten quite techie enough to get that going as much. So if you have any people that love to do those type of things, we'd take the help on that part. But no, otherwise, most of the things we've been able to access through companies that partner with the families to get those pieces across home and school, or to be looking at grants in that piece. So right now we're actually sitting in a good spot for creativity-wise and figuring out how to make things work. More bodies. I mean, staff is always a big piece, and just being able to get everywhere that it's needed to really get people up to speed is probably our biggest challenge. I think we're probably about 450 requests this year, and that's not emails and all those other little pieces that we're working on. That's just specific requests or specific students to either do a consult or an evaluation or come out and help train this team and do these additional pieces.
Is that typical, or is that escalating?
It's similar to where we were last year. It's a big escalation from years prior.
Okay.
And then do you all service when something breaks down?
Absolutely.
Where does that come? Right.
Absolutely. We do it all from start to finish, and
This is admirable.
yep.
And a note for next year's legislative, walkthroughs is to have this presentation for our legislators to see the work you're doing and how we need to be better to support you. Just a thought. Right?
Thank you.
It's truly indicative of public education. We educate all children and every single child. And this team does an incredible job of making sure those kids that have, additional needs that another child may not, or have something that may hinder them if they didn't have that to get their education, they make sure that they have it to overcome that piece of it so that they can receive their education. And we always talk about growth. Growth is always dependent on the individual child. Where do they start and where are we going to grow them to? And that's different for every single child. And so to be able to compare that and put a voucher on that or something of that nature, you just cannot do, because we have to educate every single child, and not every child needs the same thing to make sure that it's equal. And so that's what our assistive tech team does, is to make sure those kids have what they need to be in our public schools. And I will tell you that our student bodies accept them incredibly well. You talk about the Best Buddy program, where they read with them, and the Warrior Reads, or the Teddy's Reads, and in each of those different programs, and the Unified Games and Unified Arts, and incredible programs that are out there to help and make sure every kid is accepted. Yeah, incredible stuff.
Gail?
Dr. Knoll kind of stole some of the things I was going to say, so, mind meld. But I want to thank you for everything you do for our students, and that is such a wonderful thing about being a public school, is that our doors are open for all, and you level the playing field. It's going to get me too. You level the playing field for those kids, and isn't that great? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, the whole table goes.
We do have a second part of the good news report, and so that second part of it I will deliver. We did have Mr. Conrad deliver this part of the good news report earlier in our work session. This evening's part of it is really the kickoff and the call for people from our community to be part of our community task force. And if you recall back to 2018, when we went through the community task force, then it was to go through and look at what priorities would our district have to go out and have a vote on the bond. And the community approved a $190 million bond that included some cornerstone pieces to our school district, which would be like Jefferson High School, Ben Rifle Middle School. Marcelo Lebeau was the last project that was completed, plus so many other things that happened across our entire district through that CIP, capital improvement planning process, and that committee that came together that was truly made up of community members. Well, we're starting that process again, and we are looking for individuals to be part of that 30-person committee, that task force. They would be committed to 4 meetings that we would have on Wednesday nights in April and May. And it's truly our belief that our schools belong to our community. And our community is invested in our schools, but truly our schools belong to our community. So we're asking people to make sure that they make that effort. If they want to be part of it, you can go to the Sioux Falls School District website, and that website is sf.k12k12.sd.us. And if you click on our district and then facility planning, you can apply there if you'd like to be part of that 30-person committee. We're going to make sure we take people across our entire city, because every school is impacted in some way, or every area is impacted in some way, and they'll look through this, and they're truly going to help the board and carry out the Sioux Falls School District mission in seeing what we can do to keep our facilities up to that top level for every single kid, regardless of where they go to school. And obviously, one of the things we'll look at this time was something that was brought up in 2018, when Ms. Kelly, you were part of that as a chair of that committee, to look at Whittier. And Whittier is our oldest building. It's over 100 years old. And obviously, it's hard to put an investment back into that building and get the return out of it. And part of the recommendation of the committee in 2018 was to look in 10 years to rebuild Whittier. That'll be a cornerstone of this committee and what they will do. So if you feel motivated to do so, we would greatly appreciate you applying. And we'll select 30 people from across the district and try to get a good variety of individuals to represent our whole community. So that is the other part of the good news, is we're seeking input from our community that'll kick off now. You can apply now over the next several weeks, and then we'll go through that list and narrow it down.
Yeah, that's excellent. The other good news part of it is it's an opportunity for anybody interested to make a big impact in a child's life. So go to our website, and there's an application, and we want to get a broad range of interests so that out of that we can select a diverse group of citizens across the Sioux Falls School District. So that is a good news. Thank you, Dr. Knoll. We do not have any persons wishing to address the school board, so we will move down to item 6, the approval of the minutes of the meeting held 1-12-26. Did I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda for tonight. I do not see any conflicts of interest. Seeing none, we will move down to the approval of the consent agenda items, items 9A through E.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Those are approved. Now we're already to reports of the superintendent. Dr. Nold, back to you.
Thank you. We do have 2 reports of the superintendent's office this evening. Our first one will be given by Molly Satter, who oversees our district health services programming throughout the Sioux Falls School District and provides services truly to those a little over 24,000 K-12, but well beyond that as well with our early childhood and our students that are here beyond the age of normally 18. And so with approximately 25,000 students, providing those health services. So Molly Satter will provide us the report on the district health services.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me here. As Dr. Nold said, I am the Health Services Coordinator, and I'm here this evening to present an update on student health services across our districts. The priority areas for health services are academic success, well-being, community engagement, and effective use of resources. And our school nurses support student success by keeping students healthy, safe in school, and ready to learn. Nurses minimize health-related barriers to learning through health interventions, education, and communication. And it is said that students with a full-time school nurse have about half the illness or injury-related early releases from school compared to those with no school nurse present. So they truly do help to keep students in school. Our school nurses provide specialized nursing care, and health services are related to a student's health impairment or disability are necessary when students cannot access their education unless health services are provided. Health services may be part of a 504 plan or an IEP. Nurses provide specialized care for students with a variety of health needs, including medication administration, ventilator or tracheostomy care, catheterization, tube feeding, seizure care, diabetic care, respiratory care, as well as other unique medical needs. Our nurses help with daily health needs and emergency responses. So in addition to those specialized cares, they're providing nursing assessment, first aid, treatments for injuries and illnesses that arise during the school day. Nurses provide preventative care, including routine hearing, vision, health, and dental screenings and flu shots. Our nurses take part in attendance meetings, IEP, and 504 meetings. They provide teams with important medical information and help them understand that information. Nurses develop care plans that are critical in outlining students' health needs so staff can appropriately respond. And our nurses created approximately 2,550 care plans this past year. They also help with behavioral health concerns. So our nurses are often identifying and addressing student health concerns, and they can serve as an early warning system for students and families in crisis. And nurses can identify if a stomach ache or a headache is truly that, or if there's something more going on. Students feel comfortable visiting with nurses about mental health concerns. So our nurses play a critical role in identifying those concerns and then connecting those students with a school counselor or other assistants. And then at the secondary level, our nurses provide interventions related to those high-risk behaviors such as drinking, smoking, vaping, drug use, and overdose in teen pregnancy. So some of our families have barriers to care, so our nurses provide health education to those families. They refer them to healthcare providers as needed. They provide care coordination by helping families enroll in public health insurance programs, finding medical homes, or arranging for transportation to those appointments. In the past year, the school nurses made approximately 18,430 parent contacts to communicate health needs, provide health education, and assist with healthcare provider referrals. A variety of barriers may impact a student's ability to receive medical care, and sometimes the school nurse is the only healthcare provider a student has access to. So quickly taking a look at some numbers here at a glance, we have 33.5 FTE of school nurses who provide services in 38 buildings across the district.
The number of diabetics we currently have is 95. That number has increased by 34 students in the past 6 years. Those students are being diagnosed at a younger age, and they require a great deal of assistance, as you can imagine. And there's an example of a daily diabetic schedule there. So it can easily be 8 different check-in points with a nurse to help with their blood sugar checks, insulin, and all of those kind of things. We have approximately 266 students with seizures or a seizure disorder, and that number has increased by 56 students in the past 6 years. We have about 408 students with life-threatening allergies and 1,334 students with asthma. A few more numbers here, 322 daily scheduled nursing treatments, and those are the things that I mentioned, like catheterization, tube feedings, respiratory treatments. That does not include the daily medications that we give or intermittent treatments that can come up as needed. We provide medication to students, or we may provide the medication administration oversight and can delegate some of that to our med-trained staff during the school day. We also can respond to staff health concerns, and we've responded to 2,790 of those in the past year. We gave 689 staff flu shots this past year, 39 staff Hep B shots, and 445 student flu shots. We also partner with community organizations such as the Sertoma Club and Lions to provide hearing and vision screens for roughly 5,525 first, third, and fifth grade students, and then any additional students as needed. If there's a parent or a teacher that comes and says, hey, I have a concern that this, my student isn't able to see, we're able to jump in there and provide that screening as well. Couple community partner changes I wanted to highlight because they've been longstanding partners of the district. The first is going to be the City of Sioux Falls Community Health. We have partnered with them since 2008 to provide increased health opportunities for the underserved in our community. And we have done that through our school-based health clinics at Hawthorne, Terry Redland, and Hayward Elementary. We have clinic space that was designed in each school, including space for dental care. So with parental consent, a student can be seen by a healthcare provider for well child checks, chronic health conditions, immunizations, acute health needs, as well as preventative dental care exams and treatment. So last summer, we were informed that decreased funding at the city level due to state law change in property taxation would decrease the medical clinic operating hours. So Hawthorne and Terry Redland decreased to 1 day per month, and Hayward was decreased to 1 day per week. Our dental clinic hours and services remain the same currently. And then Falls continues to have a school-based health clinic liaison who can assist our staff and families with determining how a student may be seen at their downtown clinic if need be. But that was a pretty big change, and they've been in place for a long time, so I just wanted to mention that. The other is our partnership with Delta Dental and the Delta Dental Mobile, and we have partnered with them since 2004. And last year, they provided care to 343 students with an estimated cost of about $396,000 in direct dental services. With that program, the parents provided one consent. They came in for 1 week, and they saw the student, provided preventative care and treatment if needed, and moved on to the next school for the next week. We learned that as of January 2026, the Delta Dental Mobile would discontinue services in Sioux Falls. So we wanted to keep that going if at all possible, so we continued conversations with the City of Sioux Falls, Falls Community Dental, and Delta Dental, and we developed a plan for Falls Community Dental to take over the Dental Mobile clinical operations as of February of 2026. So we're right in the middle of transition right now. And so Delta Dental is going to maintain the mechanics of the bus, provide a bus driver and a dental liaison, but the dental bus will officially become one of Falls Community Health clinic sites. And so that means it must be run in accordance with guidelines for federally qualified health centers. So it has to look a little bit different, and that includes payment and sliding scale fees. So what will look different for our family is there will be a cost for services. Medicaid will cover all costs. Private insurance will be accepted, but patients may be eligible for a sliding scale fee discount. which is based on income verification. So then our staff, our social workers, liaisons, nurses will work with families to obtain the consents and proof of income. They will also now require 2 consents, one for the initial exam and then one for treatment. So that'll be some additional paperwork that our staff will work with families on. And then in the past, the dental mobile was there for 1 week. It will now be there for 2 weeks. So those are a couple of the highlighted changes for that partnership. So in summary, our school nurses minimize health-related barriers to learning through health interventions, education, and communication. Our school nurses partner with community agencies to meet the needs of students, and with that, community resources have changed and services have decreased. In the face of these changes, school nurses continue to provide vital services that support student success by keeping students healthy, safe in school, and ready to learn. And with that, I would ask you to acknowledge the update on district health services, and I would stand by for questions.
Can I get a motion to acknowledge the report? Second. Questions, observations, Gail?
Thank you for that report. I was very saddened when the school-based health clinics way reduced their time. And I'm just wondering, and this is probably not a fair question just to throw out at you, but I'm just wondering if anecdotally you would have any sense of numbers or impact that that's had in terms of student attendance. And, you know, if you can't go to the clinic in your school and your parents aren't able to get you someplace else, I mean, are kids missing more school? Is there more sickness in the schools? I mean, what's your sense of that?
Right. I don't have specific numbers for you at this moment, but I can tell you anecdotally, those services are not there where they were before. One of the reasons these clinics came to be years ago was to connect students that were using like emergency services instead of, you know, going to a clinic during the day, they'd go to the ER at night. And so I don't have numbers on, you know, how much that is happening, but, you know, if they don't have access to care during the day, we have reason to believe that they can be seeking that care in other ways. So we definitely have used our time when we do have the 1 day per month or 1 day per week. The schools are filling those up with student vaccination appointments and other just checkups for different things. So we do know that we're utilizing the time that they do get.
Are you hearing from school principals or your nurses that you know, it's impacting attendance and sickness more widespread? I know you don't have numbers, I'm just what your sense is.
I don't have anything specific right now as far as hearing that it's impacting attendance, but that's something I can look into some more. I mean, we just know students don't have access to that care like they have in the past.
Two questions. Thank you. I have 2 questions. Wondering if, because it's so awesome that nurses are doing the behavior identification that help too, are they ACEs trained at all?
We have done training,
Cool.
ACEs training in the past, and actually Kim Sharping and I were just discussing that the other day, because sometimes we join forces with our counselors and social workers and nurses because the things that we work with overlap, and that's actually one that we were talking about. Hey, it's been a little while, we should maybe bring something back.
That's
there.
awesome.
So, you bet.
And then the other question was if teachers, staff, anybody in the school, if they're trained in identifying seizures or maybe diabetic shock just because of the increase.
Yes, so that's the care plans that I mentioned that we outlined. So our nurses put those together, and that outlines symptoms, what to watch for, and then how to respond. And those are written with just that in mind. And we do training at the beginning of the year with different things that staff might need to do, give an EpiPen, you know, knowing where the AED is, just all of that kind of basic first aid training. Our nurses are doing that, and then making sure that they have access to a plan that's specific to that student, because seizures can look different for different students, or, you know, things like that. So that's why it's important to have that care plan specific to the student.
Yeah, probably another unfair question, but like, do we know why these numbers are just skyrocketing?
No, we don't.
Nutrition.
No.
Well, I was
and-
just going to say that our food in the school district is not causing that. I mean, we follow the guidelines with the American Academy, Pediatric Academy guidelines.
I was definitely not asking that.
Okay, good.
And type
Just
1
like
is an autoimmune, so it's not really
We want to
related
add
to
clarity
food.
to
Like,
that, Dawnbury, right?
Just like worldly, like
Well, is any of it that we have students who have, medical needs coming to Sioux Falls?
Thank you.
Yes, that's a great point, and we do know that to be true as well. So we have wonderful community partners and medical clinics with Avera and Sanford here, and we know of families that come here seeking that care. So we do have maybe a higher concentration of folks with certain conditions due
Right.
to access to care.
And these are definitely, highly skilled nurses. This is no joke. This is a lot, and I think again it goes back to us being a public school system, and we take every kid and we meet them where they're at, and we help them in every possible way, and that we do take in, a lot of the kids that wouldn't get that kind of care elsewhere. And just the scale that we do it in Sioux Falls, it's just so different than anywhere else. So, I just think, kudos to your team of nurses for everything that they do and the level of care that they give our students. And the saving the dental services, that was huge. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
on that.
We're very excited to keep that going and we've had to talk to our staff about, it's going to look different, but what remains the same is that we bring care into kids where they might not be able to access it otherwise. So we're grateful for that and excited to be moving ahead with that.
Definitely dealing with some fragile students, which would be feeding tubes, trach care, catheterization care, the fragile students with diabetic needs. So the work that you did is going recognized, and we appreciate your report, so we can spread that out to the larger community and give recognition to all the various students that we serve in our district. So excellent.
Thank you. I just would like to acknowledge our school nurses and all that they do, because it is a specialty, just like an oncology nurse or ICU nurse or anything like that. A school nurse is a specialty, and they do an amazing job. So I'm grateful to be able to share the work that they all do with you guys.
My sister's a school nurse, so I have a little extra fondness towards it.
Doesn't make you an expert.
Does not make me an expert at right. She's the expert. You're the expert.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. We have acknowledged your report. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Satter. And I agree with the conversation. It has, because of the services in Sioux Falls as a whole, it has lended to have more students that do need some of the assistive tech or the nursing needs and some of that care. Obviously, incredible across the whole spectrum of AP students and dual credit and college credit and all those things. We provide so much that so many do move here specifically for those features. So we're greatly appreciative of the work that the nurses do as well. We've continued to try to bring forward to the board and the community many of the things that maybe sometimes are not always seen or recognized in our school systems. And we continue now with this second report, community relations overview report. Some of you may think this is only brought about to create very funny, good videos of the superintendent. But outside of that, there's a lot of things that they do that is incredibly important to our community, even as we go through this last weekend with the weather and just the information there, or getting information out to families as far as what they do for the virtual learning, and a child that was in need of help and support and things that we have in our district that we are able to do the mass communication plus so much more. So Deanne Conrad oversees that department, and she will give that report to us this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Nold. Appreciate that. Here to just share with you some of the strategic work that we do. Sometimes as parents and community members, you might get that phone call or you might see that social media post. We do those things and we do a whole lot more. And I'd like to acknowledge our staff. I had invited them here and we had 2 when the meeting started, but apparently Megan Daly, our web developer and designer, has 2 very active kids at home, and they're probably doing something around the district. But Kelly Fay has joined us. She is the youth program specialist with community education. And then, of course, Tori Stolen is running the video process in the back. So he's at every one of these board meetings, so you never actually get to see him. So want to acknowledge their attendance here tonight as well. Really want to share with you community relations. We play a central role in connecting schools, families, staff, and the broader community, and we do that primarily in 2 ways. We do it through through communication, and then also through community education. And then a little known fun fact is we also work on the school facilities that are used by our community groups as well. So I'll be sharing some information with you, first of all, about our communications work. We do manage both the internal and external communication and public relations services for the district. There is a list of the types of work that we do, putting out all kinds of social media as well as other messaging for our community. Our main piece is our website. The Sioux Falls School District website serves as an anchor for our district communication resources. You can find anything and everything there. We launched the website in 2022. We refreshed it last year. We have been looking at specific areas that get high traffic and trying to determine how we can better provide customer service through rearranging information. We refresh our content daily. We look at page analytics. Recently, one of the large projects we did for our website, again, credit to Megan Daly, was revamping the high school course guide so that it was more organized and searchable, so that students and parents together could sit down and look at the course offerings available to them. I know this afternoon in your extended board work session, you heard about the many CTE courses available out there and what our counselors do to support career development and career education. And a piece of that, a component of that, is organizing and getting our high school course book from a paper copy into an online copy, and then not just online, but then searchable. So if I wanted to search a particular area of interest that as parents and students, they could sit down together and do some of that work and understand a little bit more the pathways that could happen. You could take this at your home high school, then you could go to the CTE Academy. So we've had great work and dialogue along with Kim Sharping's department and our curriculum department in order to improve that. Additionally, Kim talked today about our high school counseling websites that have a great deal of information on them. We're currently following and doing work to improve ADA compliance with our website. There are some large-scale deadlines coming up, April 2026. And so we have some work to do because those sites were built out on Google, and Google sites themselves are not inherently ADA compliant. So now we need to bring that information over to the district website, again, to provide better access to all families. And so that'll be something we're working on throughout the next several months. Our app, our Sioux Falls School District app, has about 11,000 downloads. Any information on the app can be translated into 130 languages. So we're grateful for that. Not every language we have in the Sioux Falls School District is actually a written language, so some of them can't be translated, but This is an opportunity for our families who speak a different language to see information and understand information in a language that is familiar to them. People can go ahead and select their schools, so you don't have to receive all the information on the app. You can choose which schools your children attend. If you're maybe a neighbor living across the street and you're curious, why are all those cars at Robert Frost? You know what? Download our app and select Robert Frost, and you too can find out things that are going on at the school that maybe you'd like to participate in, whether that's a concert or some other community event as well. The most popular item on our app is a lunch menu or a breakfast menu, because that's important, right? Families, before they get going in the morning, they might want to check their menu to determine what they're having for lunch or breakfast that day. So that's very popular, along with our bound tickets are available to any of our fine arts and athletic events through Bound. Our mass communication system is another important tool that we use, and in 2025, we sent nearly 25,000 messages using our mass communication system. We send text, phone calls, emails, and we do those for routine information and emergency communications as well. And so that is a tool that we really could not do without. It has become a very reliable resource for our families and for us to be able to communicate largely with them. Our social media, we do work on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I do want to draw special attention to the letter that you all collectively wrote back in December regarding Governor Larry Roden's proposed 0% funding increase. And I want you to know you took the lead in all of our social media in 2025. This post here nearly doubled the engagement of our second highest post engagement. So what does that mean? Well, this post netted 209,574 views, 3,786 reactions, 1,404 interactions, and it was shared 500 times. So those stats indicate that you all went viral, right? Okay. So you and this communication created a high visibility and demonstrated that the content on our social media platforms is viewed and it is read and considered. And the fact that it was shared 500 times meant readers not only read it, but they felt very strongly enough to share it to their own social media channels. So that just spreads it out even further. So I want to commend you for taking the action to write that social media post and allowing us then to share that out with our broader community. As mentioned, posts about the annual Festival of Bands, Jefferson High School student that was named as a Voyager Scholar, those ranked second and third in engagement for us. And again, your post doubled up our second place finisher. And then last but not least, of course, Dr. Knoll. This is fourth. Dr. Knoll's post of him serving school lunch over the summer came in fourth in our highest engagements. We had 66,000 views on that. And Dr. Knoll has been a very good sport in doing some social media with us to help the community learn about him as a person and to see the other side of the suit and tie. And he's been a good sport in doing many of those things. So we're grateful for that. K-Learn TV is a strategic storytelling tool that we have that's probably most visible in the district. It's been around the longest for sure. We first established it in the late 1960s. The Education Access Channel allows for live broadcasts such as the school board meeting we are at here tonight, along with a lot of original programming and staff features, celebrations of fine arts, athletics, musicals, and a variety of other interesting items as well. In 2015, 419 new shows were added to the K-Learn programming schedule, 419. That's sports, concerts, music, school board meetings, classroom projects, staff, student recognitions, the Avera family forums that we're so grateful to partner with Avera experts to bring information to our families. And each of those programs then requires production, capturing it, going out and videoing it, producing it, cataloging it for playback, and then getting it going on K-Learn, as well as our many other social medias as well. So those programs, 419 shows were viewed 5,601 times in only on our K-Learn website and our app. And our K-Learn website would take you here, and it can tell you what the programming schedule is for the night. You can also go and look at playback. And so we have a lot of views that take place from those who are interested in go to our K-Learn website. In addition, we do such things as Teacher of the Year, which will be coming up here shortly, retirement and recognition banquet, theater productions, talent shows, training videos. We did training videos for custodians, child nutrition, special education, PBIS. We do a lot of hype videos that you might see at the start when they're introducing our athletes who are, starters for the evening. We do a lot of demonstrations for instructional coaching. I wasn't aware of this one, but Ben tells me he's been doing French and Spanish semester tests where the teacher will record, the verbal test, and then that's how the student is taking that French or semester test. So we get in on a lot of interesting things, and we're grateful to be able to do it. Let's see, our YouTube channel also, I should mention, we started our YouTube channel in 2010, and there are more than 2,100 videos out there for on-demand viewing. We've had 12,100 subscribers to those. My favorite story is that one of our special education videos that we did, I received a phone call from out of state, somebody saying, hey, I saw this video. It's really well done. We're doing the same thing in our building. Do you mind if we use this? Well, it's out on YouTube, so anyone can use it. But what a feather in our cap for our staff who were featured in that, and then for our own district K-Learn folks who created that video as well. So we think that's pretty great. We have our Let's Talk platform that is online that you often speak about when our community has questions or comments they want to make on something. Let's Talk is the portal by which they can do that. There is a flag on the right-hand side of every page of our website, and folks are invited to ask their questions there. Our goal is to respond within 48 hours. We do have a chat bot. We're still training it, as you do with AI. But in 2025, we had 2,179 dialogues that started through Let's Talk. So we know that our community has questions, and we want to be able to answer those questions. So this is another layer of transparency that breaks down to about 182 per month. And our questions in the top categories come in about enrollment and transportation. Go figure. Where do my kids go to school? How do they get there? So those are our high volume topics. We also work with our schools on their e-newsletters using a product we call S'more, and that organizes and helps organize and develop electronic newsletters that are interesting to view and accessible, again, through ADA compliance and also multiple languages as well. Additionally, we do an all-staff e-newsletter weekly. We get about 3,700 views from that weekly newsletter, and we're sharing information from the superintendent, the reports that you're hearing, along with policy updates, HR information, and staff celebrations as well. And so each week our staff can rely on having the latest information in that way. And then we have a podcast where we feature programs and people available out where you can get your podcasts. And since we've started that, for about a year and a half now, we've had about 1,085 listens, so we're happy to be in that space as well. Second part of what we do in our department is community education. We provide classes, enrichment classes for our greater community to improve community life and the lives of individuals by providing positive experiences and learning opportunities. And we do 2 catalogs each year. In fact, our current catalog is in the printing process right now, and you are getting a sneak peek at the cover. We will launch this. It will end up in mailboxes in early to mid-November, and registration opens for our community education classes on February 18th. We have literally hundreds of classes. In 2025, we offered 5,497 registrations for those classes. Everything from fitness, yoga, stained glass is a very popular class, some woodworking, and just everything under the sun. And we really develop those classes based on trends happening in our community and what our customers are interested in. So we pride ourselves on customer service, and we look forward to registering lots of people for our spring classes come February 18th. Additionally, driver's ed falls underneath community education, because why not, right? Driver's ed is something Kelly works her tail off on. We are a certified driver's ed instructor program, which means students receive 30 hours of classroom instruction and 12 hours of behind the wheel training by a certified instructor so that they can become safer on the road. Last year, 797 students took driver's education. 800 students in the last year are better equipped to understand what it's like to drive in winter weather, what it's like to be in merging traffic as you get on the interstate. And God bless our instructors who are riding with those students. We have a fleet of vehicles, and sometimes they're in the shop because it doesn't quite go right. But our drivers and instructors do their very best to keep students on the straight and narrow. And so we're very proud to have the only certified driver's ed program in Sioux Falls. Again, community education. This is something Kelly also takes a lot of great pride in, is we offer elementary music lessons. We do high school summer school. Her counterpart, Melanie, does the high school summer school and the adult classes. Those high school summer school classes are available for credit. You heard Mr. Hall talking about that earlier today. Music, we offer piano, guitar, some specialty instruments like clarinet, that type of thing, after school in our buildings so that students can have one-on-one music lessons. Additionally, our summer band and orchestra is very popular, and they provide 3 community concerts in the summer months as well. We have chess and a sports camp. So we're trying to be in a lot of different spaces and service our community in a variety of different ways. And then, almost done, the final program I draw your attention to is our Gold Card events. The stakeholders who are 60 years old and above are important to us. We know that many in our community don't have a direct connection to a public school at any one time, and yet they are taxpayers and they want to know what's going on inside the walls of the buildings in their neighborhoods. So we offer the Gold Card events. All residents over age 60 are invited to be a Gold Card member, and it's free. You just have to give us your email. We send special invitations to school events, and you can get discounted tickets to fine arts and athletic events as well. And then we offer specialty classes, community education classes for just the over 60 population. So we really encourage folks to sign up for that and let us know if you're interested. We'd love to grow our group of people. And I tell you what, those folks become friends of ours. They are loyal to the core, and we love to host them. And then finally, as I mentioned, I didn't do a slide on this, but we have the distinct ability to work with our community organizations, youth serving organizations mostly, who are using our school facilities. And they might be wanting to have a practice, hold a practice there, or a particular event there. And we know that our schools belong to the communities. So that's a significant investment that we ask of our taxpayers to fund those schools. And so when you see lights on in the evening, it may be for a school event or it may be for a community event. And since July 2025, which is, we switched over to a new system. So all I can tell you is in 6 months' time, we coordinated 2,593 hours of use of school facilities in 1/2 of the year. So if you want to double that, 5,000 hours of community use. Nearly all of this use happens between 6:30 p.m. and 10 p.m. and is free to nonprofit organizations who have insurance and that nonprofit status. Because if they're doing things for our kids in our community, then our part is showing up and making this space available. So we work with YMCA, the City of Sioux Falls, MB, the Scouts, just a variety of other youth-serving organizations as well. So that encompasses the work done in the Community Relations Department, and we would ask that you acknowledge the overview of that work and let me know if you have any questions.
Can I get a motion to acknowledge the community relations report?
Second.
Questions, observations? Mark, it looks like you're hot to say a few things. Did you have some thoughts?
I'm just going to relax.
Okay.
I guess what wasn't highlighted was how often you get to do all the media things for us too. And you do such a fantastic job mitigating some of the tougher conversations that I can't imagine how we would function without you and your team. Like you.
Well, it clearly is a unified team. I'm 6 steps away from Dr. Knoll's office and in there more often than he'd like, I'm sure. But really what it is a coordination of, information that he's putting out and being able to share that out in a way that is good for our community to understand. Some topics are difficult, and but they know that when they have a question, we're going to do our very best to answer. And so we have a lot of dialogue with our media folks throughout a year, and we have good working relationships with them. So.
That was a compliment just for you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Appreciate that.
Gail?
Well, first of all, I got tired just listening to all the work that you guys do, so I can't imagine how you get it all done.
Sorry, I hope I didn't bore you.
No, I was just worn out thinking, man alive. But I want to thank you and your team for the great public face you give this great district. And what you put out there highlights fantastic work that our staff does and all the wonderful things, and I want to thank you for that. And the media piece is huge. And so that's a big part of your job, and I want to thank you for that too. So no question, just thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for getting us to go viral.
Hey, it was your words, your work.
Now, we've got a report from Todd coming up, so we may consider our next publication depending on what Todd has to say with legislative agenda. Any other thoughts? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have acknowledged your report. Deanne,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Well, and our last report is an update, legislative update.
Okay, thank you. We have a few bills to go through. It's going to be a lot more next time. But kind of in the interest of time, I was thinking about for every bill that we've reviewed so far, give the title and basically what it does, which is usually in the title, and then our position on that. And I'll move to the next one then. If you want to talk about it further, stop me, please. If you want to question the position, stop me, please. And if it's key bill, and I think there's 5 of them, we'll just maybe spend just a little bit more time on those, but not a lot. And if it's already dead, let's not waste time talking about it, because the House has done a pretty good job of killing those. So I'm just going to acknowledge that bill we looked at it, but I'm not even going to talk about it. So if we're good with that, I'll go. House Bill 10,003 it amends provisions pertaining to required criminal background investigation checks. We're neutral on that bill. 1008 has died. 1017 permits the board of a school district to require that certain students receive instruction in alternative settings. We're neutral on that. 1025 is dead. 1036 is dead. 1039 is dead. 1051 it revises the property tax levies and sets the school increase at 0. That's obviously a key bill for us. That's one of the biggest bills every year. We have an amend on that to set the levies, yes, but increase that's what we should be going up, which is about 2.54%. Last year we were supposed to go up 3. We went up 1.25. So if this passes, we're going to be too short for the last 2 years. And it's going to be a fairly significant number that we're short. House Bill 1061 is dead. 1073 provides for the creation of a cardiac emergency plan in every school. We oppose that because it's going to cost us about $70,000 or $80,000 a year to do that with a 0% increase. 1076 revises restrictions on residents within a community safety zone and declare an emergency. We support that. 1078 directs the amendment of the administrative schools, ARSD, for high school graduation. We're neutral on that. 1082 requires schools to provide free meals to students who qualify for reduced price meals. We already do that here. We support that. 1091 requires that corrected information be posted at least 24 hours prior to a meeting of a political subdivision. We oppose that. 1092 updates provisions pertaining to open records. It appears that It's a small change to the list of sensitivity safety information, but we do oppose that. 1095, oh shoot, I was gonna say, if you're at home, you can follow along. You just go to this QR code. And I meant to have this up for the people here that can try to read this here, but yeah.
I noticed on the 1092, because I'm following, we're opposed. We might want to just add that. We don't have a status.
Oh, and you don't have it on that?
Just for that one. Otherwise,
Oh,
they've
okay,
been
yeah,
fine.
it shows opposed on mine, but yeah, okay, we'll get that fixed. So where was I, 1095?
Yep, 1095.
Modify the provisions pertaining to the submission of a nominating position for elections, neutral. 1097 makes an appropriation providing a grant to a nonprofit that delivers diversion programming. We support that. 1098 amends certain provisions pertaining to special education funding. We asked that it be amended. It was amended to what we wanted, what we mostly wanted, and it failed in the House Ed Committee, but it still was referred to appropriations. So the bill isn't quite dead, but I'd say it's on its last legs.
So is our new status support then, since it
yeah, it would
was
be
amended?
support. Yeah, we would support it now because it's what was at case the special ed directors in the state asked for that bill, and it's kind of in that form now. So we would be support on that. Good point. HB 1110 would amend provisions relating to an individual status as a voter for a municipal or school district elections. Basically, they have to live in the district or the city for 30 consecutive days in the last year to continue to be registered, and we support that. 1130 amends permissible uses of school district's capital outlay fund and expands it. We support it, but honestly, it wouldn't do much for our district, but it's good for probably other districts. House Bill 1131 amends the process by which certain school districts calculates the general fund base percentage. It has to do with calculating a maximum fund balance. We're neutral on that. It wouldn't affect us. It affects smaller districts. So that's the House bills. Any questions or comments in addition to President Kelly's on those?
I think the last four maybe are not, or I wasn't able to access them off the QR code on the bottom.
Oh yeah, well those are put on. I put those on today.
Okay,
very late. Yeah, sorry. So we'll get those out there. They'll be out there tonight. Yeah, that's a good point.
You want to update it?
I was doing those during the work session earlier.
It's been a busy day. Yeah.
I'm sorry, do you want to update on the action that happened in Pierre today? The sped bill, 1082, the lunch bill? What happened with those?
I don't have an update.
Oh.
I know one bill, 1008, died today. I heard that, but
1082 came out of House Ed 13-1 with one excused with a due pass to House appropriations.
yeah, no,
It did.
that's a graveyard. But yeah, and the other one went out with a do not pass. That's a new thing they've got going this year.
Yeah.
They didn't used to do pass and do not pass to appropriations, but I guess change is good. So I'll go on to the Senate bill. Here's the Senate bills here. So Senate Bill 8 permits a school district to administer epinephrine using a nasal spray. We support that bill. Senate Bill 34 amends provisions pertaining to conducting a municipal or school election and just kind of cleans up some language that they didn't quite get right last year when they significantly revised that. So we're neutral on that. Senate Bill 46 modifies the requirements for open meeting agendas and provides a penalty therefore. We support that. It's basically just about following the law. Senate Bill 47 revises the requirements for executive sessions and closed meetings. Very little substantive change, so we support that. Senate Bill 48 clarifies that an official open meeting agenda must be posted online at least 72 hours before the scheduled start of the meeting. We're neutral on that. It only applies to state boards and commissions. That's why we're neutral. 58 has died. 66 prohibits the use of automatic tabulating equipment and electronic ballot marketing system. We oppose that bill. Senate Bill 84 increases thresholds for the value of, and it goes up from 82.5 to 100%. The student allocation, the general funds, and the eligibility for partners in education program scholarship. So it raises the eligibility for that up to 250. If you've been in the program, you can be up to now up to 250% of reduced price, not poverty. So that's that's a family of four and about $150,000. And they would qualify for that partners in education scholarship. So we oppose that bill. Senate Bill 85 requires an election for an excess tax levy. That bill passed the Senate today. Did get an update on that. We oppose it. It requires that schools, no other unit of government, but schools that want to do an opt-out will have to have an election, and they'll have to do it in an even number of years on primary day or in odd number of years by the first Tuesday following the first Monday in March. Kind of a weird time for not election. Senate Bill 94 revises provisions pertaining to open records. It would subject public entries to voluminous public records requests from national entities. It would just bog down public entities, so we oppose that. Authorize the imposition of a county option gross receipts tax. That's the governor's bill for property tax relief. We support that, and that is we consider that a key bill, or recommend that it is. Senate Bill 97 adjusts the limit on the percentage increase in revenue payable from property taxes, i.e. increases the max temporary new construction limit that was imposed last year from 3 to 5%. We support that. Creates the 99, Senate Bill 99 creates the property tax local effort replacement fund to reduce certain property taxes. We oppose that. We're supporting the governor's fund, the governor's plan. Senate Bill 106 modifies the amount required to be set aside for extraordinary expenses. It's commonly known as the Extraordinary Cost Fund. It has it go from $4 million to $5 million and inflate each year. We support that. It's been stuck at $4 million for years, and it should go up with the rest of the cost of SPED. Senate Bill 114 provides for publication of the ballot images and cast vote record of automatic tabulating equipment. Really don't know what neutral. We're neutral on that. Senate Bill 118 creates and deposits certain tax revenues into a homeowner tax reduction fund. Again, that's another plan. We oppose it. We support the governor's plan. Establish the homeowner tax reduction fund to provide a tax rebate for owner-occupied property. Oppose that for the same reason. Senate Bill 126 increases the amount of value exempt from property taxes under a tax release program for disabled veterans and surviving spouses. We're neutral on that. So probably a good cause and has very minimal effect, on school districts in general and us in particular. And there is a Senate joint resolution that popped up today that would submit to the voters at the next election an amendment to the Constitution limiting the assessed value of real property and limiting real property taxes. Assessments couldn't go up more than 2% per year based on the 2007 base year. And property taxes on any property couldn't be more than 1%, or that's 10 mills, basically 10, we're already, if you live in Sioux Falls and you live in Lincoln County and you're in the Sioux Falls School District, which isn't a particularly high taxing district, neither are those other entities, houses are already over 10 mills. So this looks like a crazy idea. So we recommend opposing that constitutional amendment. And that is it so far. Thank you.
I have a question for you. Would you clarify, please, for anybody who doesn't know or people listening, when you say we support the governor's plan, what you're talking about, what we're supporting?
Oh, yeah. So the governor's plan is a county option to raise the sales tax up to 0.5%, to reduce property taxes if the county feels like it's been one of those, the 5 or 6 counties where the homeowners have had their valuations increase at a rapid rate. That is really, we have 66 counties in the state. It's really only affected, according to BFM, and DOR, it's really only affected about at most 6 counties. So why do an expensive property tax relief for all 66 counties when 60 of them have really seen moderate increases, and it's just an expensive cost to get the sales tax up to do that. So it's a county option. Yeah, thank you for asking that question.
I just want to publicly acknowledge Gail and Elizabeth for being the first set of eyes in quickly being able to look over legislation. If we all don't have time to do that, they're taking on extra responsibility with that. And just want to thank them. In addition to, of course, you, Todd.
Not just me, those people over there too. Those people write them.
Well, yeah, who you've assigned it to, and Dr. Nold, and it takes all of us.
Yeah,
That's
a
the
lot of
absolute
folks are
truth.
involved.
Yep, that's
They make it pretty easy on us, so I do appreciate that, just all the descriptions of everything, and so we can get through it in a timely fashion, because there is a lot flying at all of us all the time. So it's nice to have the clarity that's provided.
We have a robust process. Good.
I just have a quick comment, I guess, just looking at the things that we're opposing, there seems to be a trend on what we're supporting and what we're opposing and who's bringing those forward. So for anybody listening and watching and paying attention, please pay attention to whose election year it is and who you want to vote for that supports public schools. I'm saying that as politically correct as I possibly can. Kindly pay attention to who is putting these forward. That's all.
Okay. Agreed.
So I guess we would just ask that the board approve the positions that have been taken so far. Thank you.
Yes, could I please get a motion to approve the positions that we have chosen in addition to the added bills that Todd is going to put in case you're following.
And the
by
change
app.
that you noted, the amend to support.
And the changes that I noted. Do I have a motion?
I move as noted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now, let's see, I'm trying to find my agenda here. Okay, we're going to take a recess. Gail, do you want to make the motion and decide what you want our recess time to be?
I move that we go into recess until 7:05. At that time, we'll reconvene in regular session and go immediately into executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we will see you all shortly.